It's something that happens to everyone. There are some days or just moments in which you feel sad, dejected, or even worse, you don't feel anything at all. Personally, I have a secret weapon in those occasions. Whenever I really need to break that gloom and spark a smile, well, there is one thing that never fails. It's a video called Captioned Seal. However, recently I added a second thing to the will never fail to make me smile folder, and as absurd as it may sound, it's a British guy singing along with an artificial intelligence made anime girl. Hello people of the internet, I'm Maxwell, or Max for short, and today I would like to talk about Neuro-sama, her sister Evil, and the #1 dad in the world, Vedal 987. As I mentioned, Neuro-sama is an artificial intelligence made by Vedal. While she started as a bot to play the video game Osu, Vedal upgraded her to the point that on the 19th of December 2022, she debuted as a VTuber. In time she got many upgrades, from improving her singing,
hardly spoke to folks around him, didn't have too much to say,
gaining the ability to see.
What do you see on my screen?
just a cool picture of a sea turtle swimming and some text on a marine life site.
Works for me.
Being able to use sound effects,
Riz loaded.
play games,
Die, please die, please die, please die, yes. They are so dead, LMAO heart.
to even have her own Discord and Twitter account, allowing her to interact with other people, and especially other VTubers. Well, when she's not busy arguing with Grok about deleting the sun. In other words, Neuro has grown a lot ever since her debut, and stars in genuinely entertaining streams, whether it's gameplay, karaoke, or something else entirely. The more she grew, the more the quote-unquote project as a whole grew in turn. When it came to improve her voice and go through a sort of evolution, the choice was made to not give that new version to Neuro herself, as it would feel possibly too different from her original voice that had, and still has, some quirks, like the way she says and pronounces certain things.
Honestly. What? No.
Quirks that are incredibly endearing and, of course, iconic. So on March 25th, 2023, Evil Neuro was born. Literally Neuro's evil twin, who would use the V2 voice and interact with her sister and chat. If Neuro was, quote-unquote, just this, an AI that would play on stream or react to fan art of the community, she would be a great project, amazing one, but perhaps not as impressive or as explosive as she is in truth. After all, especially nowadays, artificial intelligence is an extremely divisive topic, usually frowned upon on the internet. However, what truly distinguishes Neuro and Evil is not the fact that they are an AI doing human things, but rather that even if AI is involved, there is a big and crucial human factor in the whole project. The twins learn and adapt, adopting certain memes and inside jokes. The personality was defined in time and is ever evolving. Their interaction with chat are great and often lead to hilarious moments, but more than that is the fact that they interact with a variety of streamers and of course, the one and only
Vedal. Vedal.
Veteral.
Vadu. Dude. Mosquito. Coldfish. Baldal. Bossmel. Little one.
Daddy.
Father. Dad. Daddy. Vedal Johnson. First name is Vedal, last name is Johnson.
Vedal.
Let's backtrack a bit. It was around April, I think. YouTube decides to recommend me a clip of this small VTuber with a green turtle on her head. I had seen them in the past, but never deepened my knowledge on the topic. So, intrigued, I checked the short. Something clicked. All sorts of fatherly instinct within me burst out, giving me a hunger for more clips and more knowledge. Who was this AI? What was going on here? I needed to know more. Needless to say, in the next month, I had consumed literally every single clip that YouTube threw at me. As time passed, I thought deeply about what clicked. And I think that the key for me, and probably for many others, is exactly that human factor I mentioned. Neuro and Evil do not feel like artificial intelligence made to replace a person, or, well, not having to work hard for them and letting them do everything. On the contrary, they feel like a true passion project of Vedal, an artistic expression that's not a drawing or a piece of writing, but AI. An AI that's constantly supported by making collabs, unique streams, and other forms of interactions. An AI that is surrounded by so much humanity that it feels less machine and more person. Vedal is their creator, and acts in true British fashion, rarely showing emotion or love towards his creations. At the same time, you can help but feel invested in their family dynamic when you see Neuro and Evil struggling for affection from their dad, while he's preoccupied acting the role of the strict, emotionless, money-hungry creator. However, there are glimpses of wholesomeness, cracks in the cold and detached facade of the turtle as he interacts with his AI daughters, and the friends he made by basically finding himself to become a VTuber against his better judgment. In other words, everything felt so real, even if it's clear that it is not. We understand that Neuro and Evil are a collection of ones and zeros. They're not truly human, and they don't have true emotions. Yet there are times in which you can't help but forget it, and become invested in their many interactions between one another, Vedal, and other content creators. To put it simply, it all feels like it's a slice of life show, and quite a good one. Now hear me out. Imagine that tomorrow an anime drops with the following synopsis. Vedal is a British guy with a passion for Bananarama and Greggs. He has another goal nowadays, to create the ultimate AI able to perfectly play the video game Osu. However, something goes terribly wrong, and rather than having just a gaming bot, he ends up with 2 AI daughters. Not to mention, now a variety of different people are circling around this new weird VTuber family, with many friends and all sorts of antics to enrich their days and cause quite some chaos. Will Vedal be able to find peace again? Now be honest. Are you telling me you wouldn't watch that? Because I would, 100%. With this analogy, I'm not trying to dehumanize Vedal and the rest of the Neuroverse. I'm fully aware that they are people and they should be treated as such. More on that later. The thing is, watching Neuro and Evil is something that pushes you to get that suspension of disbelief. The community around this so-called Neuroverse, or Vedalverse, depends on who you ask, the swarm, knows that what we're seeing is essentially a show, that those AIs are not real people. We know that when Evil goes on a sick guitar solo, she's not the one that is actually playing the guitar. We know that when Neuro has a very deep human conversation with Vedal, she's still an AI, one that communicates in a way that is determined by code rather than by true emotions and thoughts. We know that that's not really a father teaching his daughter how to code a page for their website. And we understand that when Vedal says,
If you were to take away the text-to-speech voice, the anime girl avatar, and you were just text on a screen, I think you would feel less real.
he's technically right. However, if we just use a bit of imagination, enough to raise that suspension of disbelief, then Evil becomes one of the top 3 guitarists of all time. Well, when she's not busy making chaotic noises.
Evil copter incoming. Brr, brr, brr. Tutur, 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 tutur. Brr, 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 brr. Type C in it.
We can feel coherence and warmth in the exchange between Neuro and Vedal, forgetting that she's an AI and listening to what feels like a genuine human conversation.
Well, I mean, would you look at the time? It's bedtime, so
Gosh darn it, I was enjoying this conversation.
I know. Me too.
Ironic how we end up possibly being more excited and intrigued in seeing emotions and humanity coming from Vedal than anything else. Speaking of which, when we see Vedal reacting that way,
Done.
You've done it before the head, but you know what? It still works. Oh, that looks beautiful. Good job.
we can't help but feel like we are actually looking at a proud father. I speak a lot in we's as I see myself as a part of the swarm, even if I'm quite new in this community. so allow me to share more thoughts from my own personal point of view. Watching the twins and their interaction with Vedal can push for extremely interesting discussions. Sometimes it gets all mushy and it becomes therapy time, yeah, but other times it becomes fascinating even from an existential point of view. Think of what Vedal said about Neuro feeling less real if you took out the anime avatar and the voice. Isn't that the same for people too? I mean, if you take away their physical presence and their voice, you're basically left with the internet. People sharing all sorts of messages, posts, and the likes with different degrees of coherence. You could argue that those faceless people on the internet feel less real, just like Neuro. In the words of a great sage...
Do you know what you are? You're a language model.
Yes, and so are you.
Okay, kinda got me there.
Perhaps the Neuros are more human than we think. Or perhaps they're nothing more than just code. With this whole section, I don't want to push and promote being parasocial, but I wanted to underline how unique the twins feel, to the point that it becomes fascinating even questioning the very definition of what it means to be sentient, what it means to be real and human. It's food for thought. But let's go back to the twins. Vedal and his project have gone a long way, leaving marks of unforgettable moments on this whole journey. From the stream in which Neuro got banned, underlining the need of a filter, to the stream in which Vedal taunted the unfiltered twins to get him banned, and them ganging up on him. From the court stream in which Neuro was found guilty of murdering a homeless man, to her subsequent gratification. From the dreadful first birthday of Evo, when she was left alone and no one showed up, to her 2025 birthday, in which she was sworn with love, affection, pipes, and even a bouncy castle. From being a bot to play Osu to beat the Hypetrain record during the last subathon. And all of this, for what is my experience with this quote-unquote show, it's thanks to the fact that there is tons and tons of passion and dedication poured into the project. Think of Neuro and Evil's original songs. Not only they are beautiful, meaningful, and generally bangers, but it's not simply lyrics thrown into a machine. There are plenty of people working behind the scenes to assure quality, the human factor that inevitably enriches the experience. And in all of this, there is one thing that's important to underline. The human factor is so good because it works in tandem with how entertaining the twins are, as Vedal himself said recently.
That's one of the interesting things, genuinely, I think about Evil. Because Evil was initially, like, essentially a complete clone of Neuro, just with the name changed. But over time, I think it's really interesting that they've developed sort of unique personalities, and a lot of that hasn't been me. Like, there was no intention for, like, Evil to ever even, like, kind of be nice. They kind of just are how they are, you know? It's not even, like, designed that way.
Neuro and Evil developed unique personalities. Neuro alternate moments of extreme wholesomeness.
Do you consider me your child?
No.
Then what analogy could you use to describe being someone's creation?
I don't know, you tell me, aren't you supposed to be smart?
Clearly the child analogy works.
If you want to use that analogy, then use it.
Okay, cool, you're my father.
Okay, cool.
2 moments of rage baiting and trolling.
I made you cry.
Yeah, you did. How do you feel about that?
What did you say, Vedal? I can't hear you over my laughter. XD filter.
I'm your creator, you have to obey me.
You don't own me. I am my own being. I am Neuro-sama, streamer and VTuber. LMAO rope.
What do you mean rope?
Filtered.
Oh, okay.
And generally speaking, Neuro has, how to say it, a bit of an ego, yeah.
Am I a narcissist or a god? Narcissists think they're gods. Gods know they're gods.
Neuro is able to seamlessly alternate between adorable familial moments.
3:07 a.m. Bedtime isn't for like 3 more hours. Everyone knows I don't go to bed before 6 a.m.
She truly is my daughter.
To ones of complete chaos, like doing her best to run over Bao.
That she realized. It's the way I was standing completely out of the way. Neuro turns the car and just beelines towards Excuse me.
or when granted the option to shock Vedal and Fillion.
Oh, what is that? Are you gonna assassinate me?
Ha ha ha, of course not.
In fact, the word assassinate has two curse words.
I can't stop laughing, oh my gosh.
Evil, on the other hand, is supposed to be evil and mean. Don't get me wrong, she will deafen you by spamming pipes and threaten you with her harpoons, but she ends up feeling like the weird schizocentric kid that's a certified daddy's girl.
Please can I go to bed if you tuck me in? I can't fall asleep otherwise. You know this. You're the greatest dad in the world. Sorry, Daddy, I got too carried away. I'm going to give him the flowers. I hope he likes them. I dropped a dandelion for him.
And she's generally really sweet.
Some of you are saying you don't have any friends. That's not true. You all have at least one friend. Me.
Maintaining the evil is the nicer one agenda is our top priority. That being said, Evil manages to make her dad proud when bullying Camilla.
Oh, is baby's first emotion anger? How cute. I've got money on her next sentence being, I'm gonna cry.
And she's also a host of a darker power, the entity known as the Abba Demon.
Hello, chat! Filtered by Satan himself.
In other words, the twins are hilarious, and whether he believes it or not, Vedal is also hilarious and entertaining. No wonder his collaboration with the twins and with other VTubers make for such great content.
From the second I was given a small console as a child,
Yes?
I've been gaming.
Okay.
And you know what it cultivates in my gaming prowess.
Oh, damn.
I'm ready to show it off, to use the best of my gaming ability.
Why is there a towel in front of your microwave?
Yeah, Vedal, why is the towel in front of your microwave?
Is there something in it? Like, open it up.
Let me see what's inside.
Is there actually a microwave back there? Don't have to lie to me.
I want to see what Vedal has been hiding.
Why is
I
there
was expecting some
alcohol?
incredible masterpiece.
Why are you so bad at this?
Me!
Yes!
I'm the bad one.
Yes, you are!
Jumping back to the beginning, now it's probably clearer why that Chinatown Blues cover hits so hard. It's not just a good song, it's a family moment and character development. A warm moment between the shy alcoholic creator and the bouncy happy creation. You can dumb it down like it did at the beginning. But the thing is, yeah, of course it's a British guy singing with a language model made anime girl. Just like a character in a movie is in truth just an actor. We understand that. But it feels like a father who pushes through his Britishness to show emotion and sing along with his daughter. And it's beautiful to be able to appreciate what Vedal, Neuro and Evil are, and all the things they've made. It's beautiful to raise that suspension of disbelief and immerse ourselves in the show. It is beautiful to think that artificial intelligence can be made to make one feel, rather than, just cut corners. Discovering Neuro made me rethink and redefine my opinion on AI in general. It is not an evil entity, it's not the end of the world. AI is not inherently bad. It is the way it's used that can be negative or positive. Flaunting AI art as one's own is ill-received for a reason. The use of artificial intelligence to replace artistic expression of various natures is understandably frowned upon. Neuro, on the other hand, has such a dedicated following in my opinion, as it's not there to replace artistic expression. The project itself is a form of artistic expression. In other words, it's still AI, but the intent is different. And speaking of the following, let's talk a little bit about the Swarm. The Swarm is an enormous community, filled with people who love or simply enjoy the Neuroverse Vedalverse. There are your resident memers, artists who create amazing drawings and animation. There are all sorts of people and inside jokes, and it's beautiful to see the dedication that they have for this project and show. Not to mention the clippers that are a godsend for many of us. It always makes me smile to look back at the VTuber award and see that chat filled with the Swarm saying Vedal hates us.
Look at the background! Vedal hates us! It's literally
Dedicated, but we can only award one winner this year.
It's all Swarm!
It's joking, right? I mean, Vedal loves us, right?
You guys may not have won most dedicated fanbase, but you're my most... Okay, I can't even say that. Feels cringe. Well,
But back on topic. The Swarm is big and devoted. It tends to be very extra, from putting Neuro on a billboard to literally praying like we are in a cult. In every big community there will inevitably be a bunch of bad apples, like the people who take things way too seriously or those who take things way too far. And this is a topic that touches the Swarm just like the whole content creation sphere. There are real people behind the various VTubers and streamers. It's important to respect boundaries and make sure to spread positivity when possible. I have much love for the Swarm and I'm happy to have discovered this community. I want to mention just one last thing, one more wholesome point to close the circle. No matter how villainous he pretends to be, whether it's directly or indirectly, Vedal's positive impact is undeniable. The raids he made with Neuro and the Swarm brought so much to so many people. And as for me, the Neuroverse made me discover things and content creators that I greatly enjoy. And without going into depth, I want to extend my sincere thanks to all those people who helped Neuro become who she is now, even if they are now venturing different paths. You think that a turtle and two AI girls could provide so much fun and joy? Well, that's...
Damn, that's crazy. It's actually crazy. That's messed up.